Hello. So, first, thanks to everybody for their kind words and requests for more videos. This will be the first in a short series of videos detailing my conversion of a chest freezer into a 4-tap keg fridge. Project which I would say is medium difficulty. Requires a little bit more than your basic tool set, and maybe a little bit more than your basic skill set. A little bit of carpentry help, some electrical skills help. I will try and detail this as carefully as possible so that if you decide to try this on your own, hopefully this set of videos will give you a good basis for how to go about a project like this. So, first, let me show you why I'm doing this project. Here is my old keg fridge, a 6-tapper that I built about 2 years ago out of a freezer that I picked up for 50 bucks on Craigslist. Well, guess what? The compressor went on this one, and the repair guy said it would be about 500 bucks to replace the compressor, which is kind of ridiculous since I only paid 50 bucks for the freezer. And I just decided, you know what, maybe I don't need a 6-tap unit anymore. I'm ready to downsize, and so I picked up a freezer on sale at Sears, and we're going to convert that one. But I just wanted to show you the old unit before we start talking about the new one. So here it is. It's a good-sized freezer. Here's the inside. Still got a couple of kegs in there, even though it's not freezing. For this one, I set it up to have the CO2 supply on the inside because I have just a crazy amount of room in there. I was able to hold 7 kegs plus the CO2 and still have some room on the hump for storing some beer. For this particular project, I had an individual secondary regulator for each tap, so I had 6 secondaries going to each tap, and I've got a little digital controller here that I interrupted the freezer thermostat and put this controller in that circuit and ran it off of a K-type thermocouple which I have in a little jug of water, and that worked pretty nice for keeping the temperatures steady. A little 2x4 collar, 2x4s on the inside with this silver insulating material, and on the outside I made a nice looking, if I do say so myself, hardwood visible portion of the collar. And that's it. That's the old keg fridge. The new keg fridge functionally is not going to be much different, except it's going to be smaller. I don't know if I'm gonna go quite this fancy on the collar. We'll just have to see how the project works out. So I have to start disassembling this to get all the reusable parts back, and then we'll start talking about the new unit. So I'll talk to you in a bit. Okay, here is the back of the original keg freezer. You can see how I've got the hinges partially screwed into the collar and partially screwed into the available holes that the freezer came with. Here's where the wiring exits out the back of the collar. Goes down into the handy hole that you see in every freezer. Here's the dome light wire. Goes into the same hole. And then down here in the mechanical compartment, there's the compressor that's shot. Here you can see the solid state relay that I substituted for the original switch. You can see the yellow wire and the black wire there that I snipped off of the original thermostat and then ran them into my solid state relay. And then it's not real obvious over here, but there's a bunch of splices that I had to do to get all the electrical stuff the way that I needed it. So there you have it. Alright, with the lid off and out of the way, we can get a better look at the electronics. This is the back of the temperature controller. That yellow connector there is the thermocouple connector, which if you chase that shielded wire, you eventually wind up at the thermocouple itself. You can see over here how we've got the various power wires, how they go out the back and down, as you saw a moment ago. And then there's nothing particularly complex about wiring up the temperature controller. All the terminals are labeled. You need your power. You need to connect your thermocouple. You need ground, and you need your solid-state relay terminal out. This particular controller will run a solid-state relay, or it has an internal relay that will trip as well. Because I'm using the SSRs, I get to use the SSR output, which is nice. It's a little cleaner, a little neater in my opinion. And then, just you can see in the back we've got our 6 taps, and that's about it. Well, let's take stock of the situation. What we have here is the hole in the basement where the old keg fridge was. I saved the old roll around. I saved the hardwood part of the collar. I don't think I'm going to be able to reuse it, but just in case I come up with something clever, I saved it. Worst case, it'll become firewood. We've got a couple of boxes of parts. We've got a stack of kegs that are waiting to go into the new keg fridge. And we are ready to start. So, here goes. Alright, there's the old kegerator on my beat up old trailer, ready to take it to the dump. Thus ends the saga of keg fridge number 1.